Okay. Hello, everyone. We'll wait a few minutes for everyone to come. Where's everyone from? Hello. Toronto, New York, Florida. Hi, Alexa. Oh, I love that everyone's now participating. Brooklyn, Vegas, Washington. Wow, we have people from everywhere. Ottawa. Sea Fox. Kelsey, I was saying last time I feel like a Peloton host.
We need to get you a bike.
You know, right?
Congrats on 100 rides, Michelle Barquette.
I know.
Oh, funny.
From Mexico. Hi, Michelle. I'm going to be in Mexico in February and March. Sweden.
This is a late webinar.
Yeah. Thanks for joining still. Okay. I think we'll jump in so that we keep to time. So thank you so much for coming, everybody from all over the world, which is fantastic to see. And so we're hashtag paid, and today we're going to be discussing how you use creators to recession-proof your marketing. And my name's Ashley Risk, and I'm the head of business strategy at hashtag paid. And I've spent the past decade leading and innovating at creator marketing companies, and I've strategized with hundreds of brands on how to achieve their business goals with influencer marketing.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kelsey. I support our sales and partnerships teams here at hashtag paid. Before working here, I was working with some of the fastest growing brands in the world at Shopify Plus. And the reason that I'm on this webinar with all of you is because I like to think of creator marketing touching so much more than just organic social media. And so when it comes to a lot of this measurement and attribution stuff, that's what I get excited about and what I can share a lot about. So happy to be here with all of you. If you're wondering a little bit about who we are and where some of these insights are coming from that you're going to hear today, I'll just start with a very brief overview, keep it quite high level. So hashtag paid is a creator marketplace. We're the #1 ranked platform on G2 Crowd. And we've spent the last 8 years working with really tiny brands, small mom and pop shops, all the way up to the big Fortune 500 companies like Starbucks, Coca-Cola, General Mills, you name it. And while no two brands use us exactly the same way, we do 3 things really well. We make it incredibly easy for brands and creators to find each other. Again, we believe that creators can impact way beyond just organic social media. So we actually build a lot of those recommendations into our strategies. And then finally, we take measurement and attribution to the next level so you can clearly understand how your company is benefiting from creator marketing. So a lot of the data and strategies you'll see today come directly from our measurement team and our current customers. Ash, I'll pass it to you. Why don't we go through what we're covering today?
Fabulous. So the goal of today's session is that we're going to be looking at learnings from the last century and going to be applying that to today's media environment so that we can help you be successful in 2023. And our agenda will be the following. We're going to look at the state of the market and learning from past recessions, creator benefits to marketers, predictions for consumer behavior and how to prepare, and key takeaways. And throughout today's presentation, we're also going to stop for some questions and polls so that we can hear from you. So if you have any questions throughout, please do leave them in the comments, and then we're going to do a Q&A session at the end. So firstly, what do we see as the state of the market? Well, it's not looking good. We're seeing a flood of predictions that inflation continues to rise, the stock market is at risk, and a general concern of us entering into a recession in 2023. And for brands, an increase in cost of goods coupled with a decrease in sales is a scary equation. But what often happens is that as profits dip and businesses prepare for a recession, budgets are cut. And the first to go is often marketing. However, that's problematic Because without marketing, sales can fall further and result in deeper economic impact, which can then take longer to recover when things stabilize. And in fact, in a 2002 McKinsey study, when they studied nearly 1,000 brands over an 18-year period, they found that while most companies did cut back on marketing spends, the winners traded those lower short-term attributions for the longer-term brand building. And the Harvard Business Review has done a lot of research over the recessions over the last century. And history continues to tell us the same things. And those four main learnings are that one, failing to support brands or new customer needs can really jeopardize your long-term performance. Two, resist the urge to slash. It is so easy to just cut big chunks out of your marketing budget because it can be the fastest way to tackle cuts. But companies in the past that have carefully and strategically made these decisions often did better than those after and during the recession. Building and maintaining strong brands, one that consumers recognize and trust, remain your strongest line of defense. And in past downturns, consumer good companies that were able to increase their share of voice by maintaining or increasing their advertising were able to capture market share from rivals who weren't spending. So on average, increases in marketing spend during a recession can help boost your financial performance or at least help you have faster recovery than those that don't market. So the state of the market is a bit ominous, but what about the state of influencer marketing?
I mean, it's looking at third-party research from Forbes, Waylar, Product Lead. It's looking like it's pretty bullish. If we jump to the next slide, Ashley, there are a couple of main reasons why creator marketing is looking so strong, even with some of the economic predictions not being so hot. The first comes down to creator content. So we actually ran our own research study, and we found that creator content has the longest video view time when evaluated against both personal content, so literally someone's friends and family, and even branded content. So these are precious seconds that people are learning about your product or brand that you wouldn't get if you were the one pushing out your own content. In terms of ads performance, we also see better performance here. When we evaluated the sponsored creator content coming from a brand's handle versus the creator's handle, we saw that the creator ad performed 25 to 30% better on average across all industries and customer types. And then finally, if you look at the study that Waylar did on the neuroscience and brain activity as it relates to creator content, the numbers are staggering. So they were testing for two main things. Number one is emotional intensity. Number two is memory encoding. And the stat that stood out to me the most was that influencer ads were 277% more emotionally intense than TV ads and 87% more memorable. So not only is creator marketing often more cost-effective, but it's clearly resonating with these audiences so much better than traditional channels. To take that one step further, we started asking our own customers what this meant for marketing budgets in 2023. And so when we collected the survey results, we found that 70% of our existing customers actually said it's business as usual or they're increasing their creator marketing spend in 2023. Kind of counterintuitive to what you would expect, given a lot of what Ashley just shared. And we're going to put a poll in the chat right now. We'd love to hear from you. What are your plans for creator marketing? Scaling up, scaling back, staying the same? Let us know.
You'll be able to find the polls in your right-hand bottom browser, and we'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Oh, wow. It's looking like a lot of people are increasing spend. That's so surprising to me. I didn't think it would be such a runaway. But yeah, 56% of people say that they're increasing their creator marketing spend for next year. It's incredible. Yeah, 40% of our customers said that they would. So that means that we're looking at increasing. So it means that we're talking to the right group. No kidding. No kidding. Preaching to the choir. Okay, well, let's move on. In terms of the influencer marketing industry at large, honestly, a lot of what we just saw in that poll is kind of unsurprising, only because we found in the transition period between 2019 and 2022,
right? With a lot of the COVID-related market dips initially, we found that creator marketing actually doubled in such a short period of time. And so if you look at why it doubled, really there's three main causes: agility, relevance, and trust. We're going to go into this in a little bit more detail and actually break these out. So let's start with number one. When it comes to agility, there are many factors that ladder up into being able to, react quickly to market conditions. The first is obviously time to market. In as little as 1 to 2 weeks, brands are often generating dozens of unique videos to use across channels. This is very different than the old school ways of going through, long production timelines and things like that. In terms of content diversity, there's also way more agility with creator marketing. So if you think of creators as your brand's outsourced, fragmented marketing teams, you're putting dozens of brains together at one time that are coming up with creative concepts for your content. And this means that you're testing ideas in market much faster and with a lot more depth than you would if you were relying on your existing video content. You're also able to cut on a dime when it comes to creator content and ads. With a click of a button, you're scaling back, you're ramping up spend. It's really agile, meaning that you're only spending money on the places and channels where it actually makes sense. And while we're on the topic of money, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the cost. On average, creator content comes in 10 times more cost-effective than traditional content agencies. When marketing budgets are in flux, that becomes incredibly important. And when you think about it, having one person that does everything from ideation to content editing, storytelling, distribution, all without any overhead, budgeting becomes a lot easier. So I just want to show you in the next couple of examples some of the ways that brands are pushing the boundaries of creator content. So most people think of creator content as being kind of scrappy, UGC, very unpolished, but that's no longer the case. If we jump to the next example, Ash, Infinity, a customer of #Paids, actually used one of our creators to develop commercial grade content that now lives on airlines before flight takeoff. So let's take a look. For those of you from Toronto, that's our dear friend, Alan Pallinger. You've probably seen his photography all over the place. So that's one example in the auto industry. Canon is another customer of #Paids, and they have Keisha Shante in this next commercial. I want you guys to take a look.
Life can be tough. It'll try to knock you down from every direction if you let it. It will throw things at you, and sometimes you have to fight back. It's your job to get up every single time. It can chip away at you, but take those pieces and rebuild. Spin it into gold. Get out of your own way and create the life that you want to live.
Amazing. Next, we're going to talk about relevance. So this is pillar number 2 and why the industry has doubled over the last little while. We ran a meta-analysis from all of our measurement studies across customers, and we found Doesn't matter based on company sizes, industry, spend levels, consistently, creator content came out as being over 2 times more realistic than branded content, and unsurprisingly, 2.1 times more relatable. Creators have built their entire audiences and their connections with their communities based on a specific tone, messaging, style of content that's proven to resonate. They're also really fantastic storytellers. So next, we're going to look at an example from Verizon on the power of storytelling from one of our creators.
You want to know how I ended up here? Well, let me bring you back. First things first, got to start the day off right. Can't forget about my rewards. Then let's get on track. I've got a little ways to go, so I grabbed some wheels. Then I had to head up. My favorite part about Verizon Up Rewards is I just go about my day. I don't even have to think about it.
Then just imagine, as like a thought experiment, if Verizon had tried to communicate that same message. The storytelling, the perspective coming from a creator, especially if people actually recognize the creator, is just so valuable. And it kind of leads into this third pillar, which is trust, right? Most importantly, trust is the reason that we're seeing this category explode in the way that it is. And we're seeing that younger audiences are becoming increasingly less trusting of brands and general media outlets. In fact, 74% of respondents said that they trust creators more than they trust brands. 50% of respondents said that they trust creators more than they trust media and news outlets. Creators are becoming kind of the source of truth for a lot of people as they're taking in new information. And it's no different when it comes to how brands are using creators. So before making a purchase, people obviously want to see other people using the product. They want to see other people reviewing the product, telling them where to buy, what prices to pay for the product. It takes so much risk out of the buying experience for these consumers. And in fact, I have to tell a story. I was at a dinner for creators 2 weeks ago, and I was sitting down with a creator who has a massive following, hundreds of thousands of people. And she literally told me that she would continue to promote products, even if she never made another dollar off of creator marketing. She said this helps her actually provide value to her audience, telling them which products are worth the investment versus the ones to stay away from. And she also said something super interesting. She said it creates a sense of community with her audience, like a shared experience that when she's trying a product and she's experiencing the benefits of it, when other people follow suit, they feel connected to her. And I just thought that was so powerful. Now, she did also mention, as kind of a pro tip, some of the one-off engagements that she does with different brands in the beauty space, they don't perform as well. When she has a true partner that she's promoting 3, 4, 5 times, her audience really believes that this is the product that she stands behind, and they're far more likely to not only engage with the content, but more importantly, to end up trying it for themselves. Once you go through all the work of generating that really compelling content, get the extra mileage out of it. You already have the content, you might as well get more bang for your buck. And we literally have customers who are using creator content on social, of course, but also like we saw in TV commercials, on product pages, on their online stores, a billboard in Toronto, if you can believe it, in programmatic, email marketing, you name it. And it's because the content just performs better. If some of the connection, attention, trust talk isn't quite landing with you yet, I bet you this slide will. When it comes down to the dollars and cents, Influencer Marketing Hub found that for every $1 spent on this channel, the average return was $18. When you remove the outliers of this study, the average return on investment was still over 5 to 1. When you think about some of the more traditional channels versus creator marketing, the numbers speak for themselves. And this is likely the biggest reason that we see this market and this industry continue to grow despite market uncertainty. Experimental budgets may not be as big as they once were, but we are definitely seeing that people are reallocating spend and testing with creator marketing, which is likely a big part of the reason why the industry is growing the way it is.
Amazing. So that is more information on creators and how creators can help your brand overall. But now let's go into predictions for consumer behavior and thinking specifically about the recession and tactics that you can use to meet your consumers where they are. So these are going to be the predictions for consumer behaviors if we do enter a recession and how you can market to meet their changing needs. So when we look at how consumers have responded to past recessions, we see two themes remain consistent. One, bargain hunting becomes more prevalent. However, offering cheaper products during a recession when the costs of goods are going up because of inflation, that can be challenging. So what are some things you can do instead of mass price cutting? Additionally, brand loyalty becomes more important. According to Forbes, anxious consumers cling to familiar and trusted brands as a safe haven. And so in a recession, purposeful advertising versus just performance marketing is vital to building trust. So what are some solutions you can do with creators to meet these two consumer behaviors?
Yeah, let's start with bargain hunting. Obviously, this is really attractive, especially when all your competitors are doing the same thing, but there are some serious risks associated with slashing prices, like Ashley just mentioned. One way around that is using unique discount codes with creators. And so if you're on Shopify, it's incredibly easy to set up unique coupon codes for your creators. Give them exclusive offers that help to create urgency without sacrificing your value and your pricing to the general public. Another good idea that we're seeing in market more and more recently is actually having creators pick specific products from your collection and offering a coupon code specifically for those products. It makes it feel like, the creators hand picking these items for their audiences, which increases basket size, and more importantly, communicates that you have such a strong relationship with this creator that you would go and have a special collection just for them. If that's not really your style, we may have one more idea here that might be more up your alley. I'm sure everyone has heard of buy now, pay later. It's more important now than it ever has been before. And so we're seeing tools or companies like Klarna and Afterpay, they're allowing people to split their payments into installments over time, which really has three primary benefits. Number one, you're reducing risk. Number two, you're increasing that basket size because people are only paying a small amount upfront. And then you're also decreasing cart abandonment. So all that work that you're putting in to get people to your store and to have them add to cart, you're actually making good on a lot of that effort. Now, this GIF is an actual screen recording that I was scrolling on TikTok the other day. And Sephora targeted me with an ad literally promoting buy now, pay later as the only value prop of the ad. So clearly they're seeing that this is worth investing in, but it's not just Sephora. Over BFCM, TechCrunch showed a 78% increase in BNPL orders over previous weeks. So what we're learning here is that this is just how customers prefer to buy, especially for higher ticket price points. Now we're going to talk about building loyalty.
Yeah. And so in order to build loyalty, you need to build trust. And as we keep hearing, trust is more important than ever. So we can use creators, as Kelsey was telling you, to help build that trust. And what's great is that if people trust your brand, they're less likely to go to a competitor. In fact, 46% of consumers said that they would pay more to purchase from brands they trust. So as Kelsey was saying, you can use creators to connect with communities and build that advocacy. But beyond this, because it sounds like a lot of people in this chat are already using creative marketing, and in fact, 56% say they're going to increase it. Let's now talk about some creative ways that you can use creators to continue to build trust, but also have that high efficiency, which is important in times of a recession. So firstly is TikTok for search. So it sounds like a lot of people are doing a lot of standard campaigns, and you probably are working with creators on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. But outside of your standard campaigns, it's also really important to acknowledge this growing trend of people using TikTok for search. And in fact, you're going to hear a lot of people say, I don't Google anymore, I TikTok, which really does show when you're now using it as a verb that this is going to be a thing. And there are 3 things to watch out for. 1, TikTok is a search engine. People are going onto TikTok to discover new products, new ideas, what they should buy, where they should travel. It is a source of research for trusted reviews, use cases, and discovering what's new and what's great, whether it's restaurants, shopping, where to travel, or new products that they should buy. TikTok is also a recommendation engine. So as Kelsey was saying, she got recommended this on TikTok, clearly as a lover of Sephora or brands like Sephora. And so what TikTok does is they draw people in with entertainment, and then they're able to track what people engage with. And then its algorithm serves up accounts, ads, and product recommendations that align with your personal interests. So that's personalization at its best. And finally, TikTok is also a trust engine. It's possible to skip oversaturated Google results because those are put out by brands. And you may find that as well when you're Googling things, the top things that come up are sponsored, they're branded posts, they're branded websites. But what people are looking for is more helpful content from creators. And so this is where TikTok comes into play because they can look at what other people are recommending for them. And as we've seen, people trust creators more than brands. And 40% of young people are now saying that they go to Instagram or TikTok over Google search or Maps. And as a badge partner of TikTok, it's been interesting to find out that TikTok kind of fell into the success of search. So although the media offering for search on TikTok isn't as sophisticated as, say, Google, it's getting there and it's important to prepare. And the first sign of TikTok leaning into search is their descriptions. So TikTok descriptions recently allowed for up to 2,200 characters, which is a clear SEO move. TikTok also recently launched an audience insights tool, which you can now find in your ads manager. And what the tool does is it can help guide organic and paid content plans by letting you explore things like interests, behaviors, and demographics. And one of the interesting features is the ability to find the top 10 hashtags that your audience engages with, and then you can add those hashtags to your videos to quickly boost engagement. So in order to build for this platform, we recommend taking advantage of creators, content, caption, and hashtags as part of both your content and your search marketing budget, because creators know how to speak to this audience and build meaningful content while engaging users. So another platform that can't be ignored is Pinterest. And whereas TikTok was built for entertainment but kind of fell into search, Pinterest has been built as a search engine. And what I always find is a fascinating stat is that 97% of the search is unbranded. That means that almost 100% of the people that are looking for things don't have a brand in mind yet. This is the exact place you want somebody to be when you're trying to get them to buy your brand, because they're still in that consideration phase. And 83% of weekly US pinners have made a purchase from pins from a brand. So although Pinterest is often classified as a social network, it serves a much different purpose. Pinterest is a discovery platform with users who have intent to purchase. And when it comes to performance, Pinterest actually stands out, which I find interesting because it's often reported that it has lower investment levels among brands. So this is actually an interesting acknowledgement as well, because if it has a lower investment from some of your competitors, it is a really good place to play, especially in times when you're looking for places to reach your consumers. And this study was recently posted a few weeks ago, and I think it's fascinating. And it was done by NuStar, and it was a 2-year study across retail, entertainment, financial services, telecom, and insurance. And if you compare the right bar, which is the click-based attribution, to the left bar, which is the multi-touch attribution, you suddenly get a very different picture of your most efficient channels. So why aren't you catching these converters in your results? And it's because people on Pinterest take their time. Often when you're looking at tools like Google Analytics, you're measuring the bottom of the funnel, but you're not considering how big the top can be. And when you look at paid search over here on the right, it's often criticized with getting too much credit as that last touch attribution. And you can see here that is the case. So people on Pinterest are significantly more likely than other people to take their time. In fact, they often take a week to make a purchase, and 3/4 of conversions on Pinterest take more than a week. And often what's happening is you're measuring only clicks. So you'd be measuring 1 day to click, 0 days to engage, 0 days to view, and then you're not valuing the view. And so this means you won't capture those people who take longer to convert, but ultimately spend. And if you look what happens when advertisers, both large and small, widen that attribution window from a 1 day to click, 1 day to engage, and 1 day to view to even a 777, magically on Pinterest, you see more conversions. And if you expand that to a month or more, you're going to see even more. And when people take a week or more to make a purchase, they actually spend about 50% more overall in a month. So Pinterest is a visual search engine, and what do creators do best? They make content. So instead of just contracting a creator for an Instagram or TikTok post, you can cost effectively brief them on the visuals that you need for Pinterest, and then you can get them to produce things for the different types of pins that you need. And the great thing is the creators don't actually need a large following to do this. You can be a really strong creator without having a large audience. But by leveraging creators for Pinterest, it helps you build trust with that proof of concept. You can improve your content efficiency and ultimately drive sales. And so outside of media channels, returns is a really big thing to increase loyalty as well. In fact, 60% of consumers said that they would be loyal to a retailer that allowed them to return online purchases in store. But the problem is returns are costly. In fact, research has found that the cost of managing a return is about 17% of the prime cost, and while others estimate it could be as high as 30%. And when we look at the breakdown of those major costs, we see them to be your warehouse and equipment costs, your transportation costs, your labor costs, and your environmental costs. It's estimated about 10% of all returns end up in the landfill. So creators can help with that proof of concept. They can show how clothing looks on, how it looks in a room, how it works on skin, what that experience is like when using your product. And if the customer is more informed, that means that they're more likely to make the correct purchase and be more satisfied and have less returns. So for example, think of a fashion brand and they may be struggling with increasing costs for return postage. And it's because the models on their website are not representative of how the clothes actually look on across different body types. But by working with creators, they can get a representation of different body types and then able to get affordable content where they can show that diversity. And they can use that on their website, on Instagram, on carousel ads. And now all of a sudden you don't have someone buying 3 sizes to return 2. They can buy it right the first time. Okay, so what were the key takeaways that we covered today? The first is in a recession, the winners in past recessions have traded that lower short-term profitability for long-term gain and refocused marketing rather than just cut and slashing their spending. Creators can help you stay agile, relevant, and they can help you build trust. Brief creators to build content for multiple mediums to increase your efficiency of your marketing budget. And during a recession, consumers are going to be bargain hunting more and brand loyalty will become more important. So creators can really help your marketing efforts to meet those needs. So we always get feedback after these sessions that brands want to go deeper on their specific strategies. And so they want to understand how some of these things can relate to their brand or more specific ways on how they could activate that. So if that's something that's interesting to you, we're going to add a link in the chat so that you can book a calendar invite with one of our consultants so that you can talk specifically about what would be helpful for your own strategies. And before we get into Q&A, I want to also talk about our next big event, and that is Meet the Creators. So our next big event is going to be at Meet the Creators on February 16th in LA. And this has become a quarterly anticipated event that we host in different places in North America, where we get together marketers and top tier creators. Friendships are made, partnerships are built, and memories are created. I want to give you just a sneak peek of what our one of our previous sessions or Meet the Creators have looked like to give you a feel of what this is all about.
got me. I'm fresh out my cage. I got a new wave. I'm going my way. All this ambition turns into munitions. A man on a mission in a perfect position. I gotta get that new thing. We're gonna get that new thing. Cause it makes me feel good, it makes me look good. I gotta get that new thing. I want the real thing. Give me that brand new.
All right. So if you are going to be in LA on February 16th and wanted to be added to the invite list, you can email events@hashtagpaid.com and we can add you to the guest list. So we're going to publish a last poll on how you felt about this content today, that we would love to hear your answers. And then in addition, I would also just love to turn to you to see, based off of this session, if we have any questions that you'd like to cover as a group. So over to you. All right. So do you have examples of work with not-for-profits? We do. So Kelly B, if you wanted to reach out to us, my email is actually right here. You wanted to talk more about like not-for-profit examples or some case studies. We actually have quite a few case studies in the not-for-profit sector. Pinterest has ended their creator rewards program and has proven they are not a platform creators. How do you see this differently? Yeah, I think that's interesting. So I wouldn't say that that's proven that they're not a platform creators, John. What I was reading about is that they've ended the rewards program after investing quite a bit of money on it. I want to say it was several $1 million into it. And I think that they were finding that it wasn't the best way to engage with creators. So from what I've read on their roadmap, they still are actively looking to see how they're going to leverage creators for this platform or provide that to brands. I think that that specifically just wasn't working for them. So I think there's still more to see with that. And, I think as well, sometimes platforms may not see the investment in investing in creators like TikTok because for TikTok, it really is about entertainment and they need TikTokers in order to be able to consistently getting that entertainment versus, as we said, Pinterest is much more of a discovery and search platform. So I think it is also might be different in terms of the company's interest and what is going to best serve their brand versus a brand's interest and what's going to best serve their brand. And so I think when we're looking at how do you create compelling content for creators or for Pinterest, and if you're already working with people that are great photographers, can show lifestyle content, can show how your product comes to life and give that relevance and that relatability to people that look and feel like them, that it can work really well for your brand, whether that's something that Pinterest is super leaned in on.
There's another question, Ash. Christina asks, what's your take on the saturation of the TikTok market? I see so many people complaining about getting tired of TikTok.
Interesting. What do you think, Kels?
I have not heard that. As a girl that literally spends, I don't even want to disclose the number of hours a day on TikTok. I have heard people having to put limits on themselves, like from a health perspective of not wanting to spend too much time on the app. But Christina, I'd be curious if you have any extra context on what you're hearing, we can comment more specifically.
Yeah, I'm the same. I was actually supposed to be preparing for this and I was spending like an hour at like 6, 7 p.m. deep on TikTok. And I kept being like, okay, 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. I'm in Europe, maybe that's why. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that. I mean, we've been seeing that it's consistently from all of the sessions that we've been part of, consistent growth on the platform, but potentially we're looking at it from a North American lens. Interesting. So Joanna from Germany feels the same way. So potentially, I mean, we don't service Europe at the moment. Our focus is North America, and so maybe there are some differences there in Europe that need to be uncovered. All right. So there's no more questions. I don't know, Kelsey, if you have any other last thoughts that you want to add.
No, I was just going to say, looking at the poll results of the content and how valuable it was, thank you so much for the glowing review, and we appreciate all of you being here. If this is valuable, this is an easy series for us to continue with some of these insights and learnings that we're finding along the way. So all feedback is appreciated.
Amazing. And so if you sign up for the events as well, if you've signed up for this one, we are going to be sending the recording after this. In addition, you may also opt in to receive more webinars like this. Also, if you continue to look at banknotes, we have all of our events posted there under events, banknotes by #paid, in addition to a newsletter that you can subscribe to for up and coming trends, as well as what's hot in the market. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure, and I appreciate people coming from all over the world and learning about Europe from some of our European friends as well. And yeah, it was lovely to see everybody here. Bye, everyone.